Hey, Bikeaholics, Zero 3D has a wide variety of innovative products for your Harley-Davidson and a brand new line for the all-new Honda Goldwing named Gold Strike. Top quality, affordable chrome lighting and comfort products. Zero Gold Strike are the motorcycle LED lighting innovators for CAN bus plug-and-play system compatibility. Head over to lawabidingbiker.com/store and check out our full line of Zero 3D products. We got us an email here. Nice little email, Lurch. I'm going to go ahead and read it.
Go.
It's from Shane Gibson of Mountain View, California. He writes, your brake bleeding flushing vid saved me a trip back to the mechanic after they effed up. By the way, on a side note, if you out there did not know how to spell effed up, it's spelled EFF-ED. Is that effed? It's effed up. Tighten. We know what he means. All right. We just got to have fun with that. Tightening the rear. They effed up, tightening the rear master cylinder cover and lost all rear brakes.
It's a bad day.
I was able to pick up .4 fluid and bleed the brakes in 15 minutes. No pump, just gravity and a surgical tube. We still talking about brakes, I hope. All right. The rear brake is better now than it ever was since I bought it 7 years ago. You saved me 90 minutes on the road and an hour in the shop and haggling over making them fix it because I believe it was their fault. Well worth my donation to you. Being on the Central California coast, we get the opportunity to pay insanely outrageous bills for housing and everything else. But along with that comes very nice weather year-round. My partner and I both ride 12 months of the year. She has a Sportster 48. We put a lot of love into customizing. We average about 10K miles a year on our bikes. He closes by saying, keep the rubber side down and thank you for all your efforts. No, thank you, Shane, for sending the kind email in. That is what keeps us motivated here at Law Abiding Biker Media to keep doing what we do. We're going to talk about a little bit what we did today. It's been a long day, but honestly, it's the community. It's things like this, knowing that these things are helping bikers work on their own bike and, of course, save money. If you haven't seen it, he's referring to our very popular flushing video on the brake system. So I will put it in the show notes, lawabidingbiker.com/whatever episode number this is how you get it. We have one for flushing your brake system, and we actually show you how to use a pump in it. And then we also have another one, very similar processes for flushing your clutch reservoir. Both things you need to do. We were just talking about it before we went live here about needing to do that and how dirty it can get and the moisture can get in it. Both of them, they get moisture over time. So you need to take care of that. Anyways, he went to lawabidingbiker.com/contact, our contact page. That's where he left us a nice message. We want to hear from you guys. You can leave a voicemail over there too. Really want to ramp it up here in 2021. We have the platform, but there's nothing better than reading your emails and also a voice, even if it's just something really nice like that in our experience. Send those voicemails in. We want to hear from you. We want to share those messages. Want to ride longer?
Yeah.
Brad, are you tired of a sore and achy ass?
I am.
Then fix it with a high-quality butt buffer seat cushion. Head over to lawabidingbiker.com/store. Check out our lineup of butt buffer seat cushions. And Brad's been up here all day. We're going to talk about that. We've got a special guest, and he is going home with a rider butt buffer and a passenger butt buffer because we had a bunch of extras here, and we threw them his way. So no sore and achy ass for Brad anymore.
I'll be buffing my butt all the way home.
Nice. Oh, yeah. Once you've had Rick Rack, you'll never go back. The ultimate motorcycle luggage rack solution. Forget those messy straps and bungee cords. Go strapless with a Rick Rack quick attach luggage system and quality bag. Head over to lawabidingbiker.com/store. Get hooked up now. We're diving in. Oh, yeah. We're diving in. Welcome back, you freaking bikeaholics. This is the podcast for the motorcycle majority, the Big MM, also known as the
Hashtag Biker Revolution.
99%. You both messed up. Oh my God.
Which one?
Let me rewind.
Wait, hold on. What?
Yeah, it's all that motorcycle majority, also known as the
99%. It was the hand movement you were doing over there. I thought you were giving me a hashtag thing.
At least you both did it together. That was nice.
Well, I started, and so I led him astray. I apologize.
Hashtag's coming. Are you ready for that?
Yeah.
All right. So before we get started here, oh, see, now you got me screwed up, dude. now you screwed up my roll. Oh my God, dude. We're starting out real crappy here with the new setup, which we're going to talk about. All right. So anyways, by being here, by listening, by being part of this, you're what we call part of the hashtag
Biker Revolution.
There we go. Yeah, nice. We do have just one question before we get started. What are you waiting for?
Mount up and let us take you on another wild-ass ride.
There you go. Nice. Ryan Erlacher here, your host of the Law-Abiding Biker Podcast. And, of course, your
high-tech redneck.
There you go. We are here. Rough start. But that's all right. That's part of the fun here. So I do want to announce we got a new setup, you guys. Look at this. We got a whole new setup. I got some different angles for you here you're probably seeing. We put a lot of time and effort. It's probably a lot clearer. The video, a ton clearer. We have put in a ton of time and effort for a whole new live setup here in the studio for you guys. We wanted to bring it, like I said, just a better image. We've been using some older equipment for a while, but we thank all the patron members because you're a direct reason that we can bring this higher quality live setup to you guys. So we hope that you enjoy it. We hope it's better. And again, it will be in true high definition 1080p and all that kind of stuff. And I may fumble for the first few live episodes because I got if I didn't have enough to do here at the wheel of the ship, I've added a bunch of extra shit. So I don't know why I do this to myself sometimes, but nonetheless, we're trying to make it better for you. So I hope on your end, we're going to be monitoring the chat. I hope that it looks better. If you guys go to YouTube, you can actually click the gear and you can switch it, force it into 1080p. Depending if you're watching on a mobile device, it really doesn't matter. But if you're watching on any kind of iPad or larger screen, you can force it into 1080p and you'll definitely notice the difference from our old live stream. Bill Schreiber says, nice setup. I like it. We can see all of you from one camera. Yep. Oh yeah, he likes this angle right here. Yep, we can do that too, where you can see us all sitting here. You guys can't see it, but I could actually, I can't switch it. Never mind. But yeah, he's talking about this camera over here, this angle. And so yeah, we got a whole bunch of people in here. We've got a great episode. Main topic today is you see the face right here. We're going to get into that. We've got a true biker talk episode, which is fun because we love getting patron members in here and bikers and just kicking back. And it's nice because the other patron members are here in the chat. And I know you guys get off on your own conversations there too. So feel free to do that. And we'll try to interject that. And of course, the man, the myth, the legend, of course, is in here. There you go. Wow.
Taking it to a 10.
Taking it to a 10. Are your ears okay there?
I'm good.
Brad,
I tried to back off.
Yeah, you did well. Good mic control.
Thank you.
Control.
Appreciate that.
That's very nice. All right. So, of course, before we get into the main topic, we're going to talk about a whole bunch of stuff with Brad and introduce him here for you that don't know him. We've had a lot of patron members in the studio over the years. So always fun, good time. I do want to mention a new free video, which we try to do up front for you guys because we're cranking them out on the YouTube channel. And that is going to be our Sena high definition HD motorcycle helmet speakers for Harley, the Sena Boom audio headsets. You want to talk about this, Lurch? Because you did this, right? Nice little update, cheap, really affordable.
Yeah. What were they? $40, I think, for the set, if I'm right.
Yeah, I think $39 on our store or something like that.
And when we first got them, there was not a firmware update for the Harley branded Senas, and so you couldn't do the full HD audio. But even just putting the speakers in made a pretty big improvement. They're better quality speakers, quite a bit louder and clearer. But now that Harley's added the firmware update, it really opened them up. They're so much louder. When I had the original speakers in, and listening to podcasts, I'd have to have them cranked full volume to hear it.
I still couldn't full volume a lot of times hear podcast clearly. Yeah. Now,
yeah, true.
Yeah.
So much better now with the HD speakers.
Huge difference. I'm telling you, if you want something does a major improvement that only costs you $40, that's the way to go. Yeah,
I actually wasn't sure at first till we got them. I was like, oh, I bet they sound better. But honestly, and I'm not just saying that, we can't even keep those things in stock. They are an absolute must upgrade to a Sena 30K, your 50K, and it's worth it because, like Brad says, podcasts and music is so much easier going down the freeway now. You used to crank them all the way up, and sometimes it would just wash a little bit, even on full face. So, and of course, if you buy them from our store, if you go over to Law Abiding Biker Store, we have a free videos telling you more than you need to know probably, but what we talked fitment, and we do an install, kind of show that stuff and tell you what you need to know, and kind of some boombox stuff and some setting stuff. And once you put them in, you do have to do a setting to make sure that you activate them. So there you go. Love our sponsors up front. Our main sponsors, of course, they help support these episodes, but of course we've got some new sponsors for this episode, and those are some of our newest patron members, and we want to thank them real quick.
Mark Pledger of Addison, Texas, Lauren Baugh of Bend, Illinois, and Antonio Sandoval of Livermore, California.
Dennis Jackson of Columbus, Nebraska. Dave Burton of Richland, Washington, just right in our back door. And Donovan Goshin of the United States military has got an APO address.
Moving on to Edward Fritz of Punta Gorda, Florida. Top tier. Ryan Cabral of Temple, Texas. Larry Lockman of Spokane Valley, Washington, also about 3 hours east of us. Finish it off, somebody.
Paul Pomeroy of Happy Valley, Oregon. I lived right next door to Happy Valley for years.
Nice.
Kirk Willis of Chesterfield, Virginia, and Jose Colon of Clinton, Massachusetts.
There you go. lawabidingbiker.com/Patreon, Patreon. Pledge a certain amount for purpose content, no risk to you, because you can put a monthly cap. There are benefits such as t-shirts and stickers, that private Facebook group. It's a troll-free zone, access to our live video broadcasts and chat podcasts early, premium videos up on request, and access to those live or ride meetup and events, I should say. There you go, guys. And we got one coming up. As you know, we aren't really announcing anymore because by the time these come out to the regular listening audience, it will be long past that. But you all know by now in the private Facebook group and all that kind of stuff, our summer ride patron meetup and event. Brad's going to be there. Lurch is going to be there. I'm still trying to, I'll be there. We've got a bunch of other, the Sworn Few crew and behind the scenes lab guys going. So we are looking forward to that right here in the house. Let's dive right in. Introduce yourself. A lot of the patrons know you. Tell us a little bit about yourself. We'll get into what we did today, I think, later. What I want to do right now is just get going with Brad. I want to learn. I know some about Brad because we've had time to talk. There's a lot of things that I don't know, and so it should be a fun episode. And who knows? I'm sure we'll get completely off track at some point, and that'll be fun. So, Brad,
there's probably a lot of things no one should ever know.
That might be too. Yeah. You might have to just hit the cancel button, and
I can edit this if you need me to take anything out to protect the innocent.
Right, just do that button if you're like, nope, we're not going there.
Well, let's see. Been a patron for a while, and just have enjoyed the community. When I retired from law enforcement, I was looking for tribes to be part of. And, this is one of those things that satisfies that need for me. And it's great to be part of a good community on social media that is helpful as opposed to most of the social media communities. And just hanging out with all the guys that I've met through it has been pretty enjoyable.
Yeah. So law enforcement background.
Yeah, I retired 2017 as chief of police in Astoria, Oregon, and had spent 25 years there, a couple of years in the Army as a military police officer, and a horrible year working in New York City as an Amtrak police officer.
In New York?
In New York, Penn Station. Yeah.
Wow.
Is that right after the military? Or
it was right after the military. The Congress, in their infinite wisdom, cut the military that year, and I ended up with 3 weeks' notice out of the military. And so scrambling for a job, and I ended up with a job at Amtrak, working in Midtown Manhattan at Penn Station, and thought I hated policing. So I left and found out I just hated New York City.
Understandable.
So.
Interesting. Yeah. That was one little tidbit I didn't know about. So let's take it way back. Where'd you grow up?
Oh, man, that's the longest story there is. So my brother, Rob, who's also a patron, and I, we've lived mostly in the Northwest. I was born up in Spokane, graduated high school in Clackamas, Oregon, and lived in Renton and Yakima, and I'm missing Estacada and other places in the Northwest. Lived for 3 years back in Springfield, Illinois. So we kind of moved around. His dad changed his career, and but mostly Pacific Northwest. So,
how did motorcycles come into the picture?
Probably blame my dad and my grandfather. I can remember my dad when we lived in Renton. That was his primary form of transportation when he was working at the schools, because he worked as a music teacher in several schools. So he'd ride that between the buildings, because my dad, if he's nothing else, he's probably a little cheap. So, he got reimbursed for mileage, and the mileage reimbursement makes more difference if you're getting 60, 70 miles to the gallon. Mm-hmm. So,
yeah.
So, he was driving around Seattle, Renton area in his little Honda.
Nice.
Like a Honda 150 or something, some ridiculously small bike. And he used to take us for rides on that. And my grandfather's had a motorcycle forever, rode Harleys for a long time, but was also only like 5'2". So he ended up leaving the Harleys because he just couldn't get it short enough. And he kept dropping it when he'd find a pothole or something when he was backing it up. And so I ended up with a Yamaha Virago for years.
Nice.
They've always been around our life, and dirt bikes, and the little tote goats that we used to race around on the lake up at Spirit Lake. And so they're just, two wheels were always around our life.
Nice. You ever do any dirt biking stuff?
A little bit when we were younger. My brother and I my grandparents had a farm over on Alaska. So we rode over there a lot.
On Alaska.
Yeah. And then
nowhere near Alaska.
Right.
Nowhere near
That's
Alaska.
why I said it slow, because a lot of, yeah.
And then we had some property when we lived down in Clackamas, and we had a couple dirt bikes down there. I think we traded a couple of chainsaws for or something, and rode around on those quite a bit. You're looking up the tote goat.
Yeah, so that's one of the nice things about having the computer in front of me, is when people say things I haven't heard before, I can look it up. And there is such thing as a tote goat.
A tote goat?
It's a little two-wheeled motorcycle with a...
is that tote goat like G-O-A-T?
T-O-T, yeah, and then G-O-A-T. It's got like
the Briggs and Stratton
lawnmower.
Motor.
So I can bring...
little fat-wheeled bike.
Now I can share the screen with our audience, so that's what I'm doing.
Oh.
What you're seeing here goes to the audience.
There's your tote goats.
Yeah. That's what we used to rip around Spirit Lake.
Oh, yeah, dude.
That's kind of a newer version.
Oh, that's a Coleman.
Now there you go. There's the mighty tote goat.
Oh, it's Wikipedia. It made Wikipedia.
That little yellow one's pretty close to... Well, that one's pretty close too, yeah.
I know you guys can see that out there in
that's cool.
In the chat. There you guys are...
What those things sound like?
It's badass, dude.
They sounded like a lawnmower.
Okay.
I'm not making a sound.
It looks like a lawnmower.
This is not a click and clack car tote.
Okay, I tried.
Yeah, look at that bad boy, dude.
Who do we have on here that was making was it Gaxiola? Somebody's talking about their first bike, and it went wing.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. You remember that?
There have been a couple episodes where there have been motor sounds going.
I was trying to get him to do it, but he was too smart for me.
There you go. You're seeing a picture of the tote goat there.
That's cool.
Yeah, so that's kind of nice that we can do that to the audience now, actually show them what we're looking at. So, all right, good.
Don't show them what I'm looking at.
Yeah, well, we can't do that. We're not sharing Lurch's screen. I'll tell you that right now. It would get kicked off YouTube if you look at what Lurch is looking through. So, all right, so a little bit of a background. You get a little bit, I mean, in high school and stuff, do you end up street bikes or anything? I mean, when did you start?
Yeah, I think I've been endorsed since like 1984 or something, right about the time I graduated high school. And we just metric bikes for years, always wanting a Harley, never able to actually
sports
find
bikes?
it.
Did you ever get into that scene?
Never really sports bikes. The closest I got was the, can't remember the name of it now, the Honda V4 sport bike. It's 750, kind of iconic sport bike that It was a lot of fun, but that's so much better than a White Claw.
I know. Oh God, here we go.
Yeah, I will not bring him a White Claw.
I'm sure.
I mean, I don't.
That's what I'm drinking.
Not condoning.
No, not condoning that. He's going to do that on his own.
I'm making fun of my White Claws.
Hey, while you're messing around over there, Bill Schreiber says, I thought that was when Rick had to carry a grunt home because he had too much to drink. Tote goat.
Nice.
That's a good one.
Nice. Okay, so sorry, I got sidetracked there, which we often do here.
Not
Brett.
really a lot of sport bikes, mostly like upright cruiser styles, like the old Yamaha 650S, and, Viragos, and CB350, and all kinds of different bikes over the years. But most of them just kind of temporary bikes waiting for my Harley.
Yeah. So did you go before I want to dive back into some bike stuff, but did you, I guess what did you do career wise? Did you jump right into law enforcement or, I mean, what else?
Straight
did
out of the
you do?
military. I tried law enforcement there.
We talked about a little bit about that. Yeah.
In New York, but then
Quit that.
When I moved back here to Yakima, because my parents had moved here while I was in the service, I was actually the department manager for the Bon Marché here in Yakima.
Nice,
Yeah,
dude. The Bond,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah, I remember that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, did that for 5 or 6 years while we lived
Wow.
in Yakima, and then got the job in Astoria and moved back to Astoria for that. So
Yeah. Wow. So, okay.
Then worked your way up to chief eventually, huh?
yeah, hung out long enough,
Yeah,
and they
cool.
made me the boss.
Brainwashed you enough and became chief, dude.
The funny thing is, I remember like day one saying, because I'd always managed to become the boss every place I'd worked, or a supervisor at least. And I'm like, I'm not doing it this time.
Yeah.
I'm just going to be here. I'm going to be a patrol officer. I'm going to do my job, and I'm not going to take any promotions.
Yeah.
25 years later.
That worked out
Running
well.
the place.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, what are you going to do?
So how big is, I forget the population of Astoria.
10,000.
10,000.
With
Is that
16
as of
sworn.
today?
Yeah, it's been consistently 10,000 since about mid-50s.
Wow.
So
Why doesn't it grow? What do you think?
it's landlocked, and Oregon's land use laws won't allow it to grow. So it's surrounded by water on three sides, and to grow, they'd have to grow into the forest, and that's not going to happen. So the growth in the area is actually happening over in Warrenton, which is an adjacent town. So.
Interesting little factoid, because you wonder, wow, it's just a town that is kind of stuck consistent.
Yeah, and like the whole industry thing is a challenge too, because like 50s and 60s, I guess all the way up into the 80s, you had canneries that were running there. Bumblebee was a huge employer, and those have all closed, partly because of fishing trends, partly because of environmental trends, partly because of labor. And so anytime they get good industry in, it seems like something happens to turn that. And they've gone from fishing and logging to tourism, and now a lot of brewing. They've got some pretty big producing breweries in the area now. So they're back to canning again. It's just not tuna.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Nice. Cool place to visit if you guys aren't familiar with it. We've ridden through there. In fact, we're going to ride through it on our way to Cali this year, right?
Yeah.
It's one of our
It'll be a lunch stop.
Lunch stop. That's right. And we got some cool stuff because Brad obviously knows the area well. That goes without saying. And he gave us some good ideas of, we're not going to be there long, but some things, some landmarks to see and things like that, because we've always kind of just breezed through there. So I think that would be kind of fun. So yeah, but definitely get through there, guys. If you're riding through that area, definitely worth a stop. And there's some cool lunch places too. If you're a patron member, just hit Brad up in the Facebook group and ask him if you're going to stay there, ride through there, or you want good restaurants and stuff like that. He'll be able to hook you up. Same with Redmond. That's where, I don't know if you mentioned that, that's where Brad is from now.
Yeah, Redmond, Oregon, not Washington.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I forgot about that. You got to mention that. Yeah.
Yeah, just north of Bend.
Yeah. So how do we get in, or when did we get into Harleys at some point?
I've been getting Harley gifts for probably 20 years. The mugs, the T-shirts, but it's my wife actually is the one that totally is responsible for me to get a Harley, because I was looking at those cheap bikes again.
Okay.
And my dad and brothers and I had decided to take a motorcycle ride 2017. And I was looking for a new bike and something a little bigger, something to take on a long ride across North Cascades was the plan. And she's like, why don't you buy what you want instead of what you can you think you can afford. And sure enough,
Green light, bro.
yeah,
Yeah, that's all I needed.
Monday, I signed a dotted line.
Yeah. Nice. Nice.
Bought myself a Fat Boy. We toured 2-Up on the Fat Boy for about 3 months. And yeah, that Fat Boy was not built for riding 2-Up with somebody my size, especially. And,
Yeah.
so we ended up trading that in on the Road Glide, and happy as can be.
What was it with the Fat Boy that it's not meant for 2-Up riding? Is it a suspension issue or what?
That older Softail suspension is just, it's soft and mechanically it's not possible to do the same kind of cushioning of your ride as the touring bike is. The shock is almost horizontal and capturing that forward motion, but not so much the up and down of the bridge transitions and potholes and the normal everyday riding on the highway.
You trade that bad boy in then?
We did. Yep. Traded it back to the same dealer I bought it from 6 months after I bought it with, I think it was, what did we put on that? 11,000 miles on it in 6 months.
Wow.
From January to June.
Damn.
Yeah, we did some riding.
Yeah, that's respectable.
Yeah. And so bought the Road Glide after we rode it at one of those Harley demo days and realized that this is what we needed.
Yeah. Okay. The demo day got you, huh?
Yep. Demo day got me.
Yeah.
Went in for, I think, a light bulb.
No shit.
Came out with
Huh?
a new bike.
No shit.
That's funny.
So why'd you pick the, did you consider, because we're going to talk about this.
Right. Yep.
Consider the Road Glide over.
So I test drove both of them, and
You tested the Street Glide and
Street Glide, Road Glide, rode an Ultra.
Okay.
And really just the space between the fairing and the chest. It's like when I was riding the Batwing, it just felt cramped. And part of it's, I was coming from a Fat Boy that had that clear window and there wasn't anything there. I've never ridden anything with a fairing in my face before. And when I got on that Street Glide, the Batwing fairing in general, it just felt like everything was right there in my face. And when I got on the Road Glide, I'm like, oh, this feels roomy. And it was the bike. It was obvious.
Okay. So we're going to talk about this in a minute, a little bit.
So now it's Road Glide or no glide.
Now it's, right. Yeah. Or
with tall guys like us, I think that's just the way it is. You feel so much more comfortable and you feel like that dash isn't in your face and you feel like you have more room. You technically don't, but the way the dash is laid out, you can rock your bars further forward. It's just a better fit and feel for a tall guy.
Yeah. Why didn't you go for the Ultra? Because you got an Ultra now.
Yeah.
We're gonna
Pretty much.
Headed that way.
we're gonna talk about that.
I think I've arrived, actually.
Yeah.
So
I think so. Today you arrived.
I like the look of the Special. That kind of sleek, streamlined bike. I like the larger front tire. The bike I bought is a 2017, first year of the M8, first year of the dual cooled heads. And I was suspicious, especially when I looked at the stats and I'm like, well, that has less horsepower, even though it should have more horsepower because it should be running cooler. And I was suspicious. And so I stuck with the traditional oil cooled engine and just wanted to play it a little safe.
Yeah. Okay.
But then the comfort started to sneak in. So, I get tired of my lower legs getting wet all the time. So I bought lowers and the wife wanted to be a little more comfortable on the back. So I bought a tour pack and then the wife wanted to hear the stereo a little better. So I bought rear speakers
and pods.
And I think I'm only like the rear lights away from having an Ultra now.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
If you didn't look, if you didn't pay attention, you have to look twice to realize that it's a Road Glide transformed into an Ultra. We're going to talk about that a little bit more. In fact, that's why Brad's one of the reasons he's here. We'll certainly talk about that in a minute. But let's do this real quick.
Hey, bikeaholics searching for new and exciting motorcycle products? Serial 3D has the products you dream about for your bike. Check out their wide variety of innovative products for Harley-Davidson and Honda Goldwing motorcycles. Serial 3D's got your back with chrome, black parts, lighting, and other comfort products. No modifying, cutting, grinding, or welding for an easy installation. That equals less time installing and more time riding. Zero 3D has a design team of riders with over 40 years of experience with a passion for design and innovation. Zero and Gold Strike are the motorcycle LED lighting innovators for CAN bus plug-and-play system compatibility. They pride themselves on great customer service. Got a question? Get in touch with them via email at sales@zero3d.com or give them a call at 715-808-0027. Check out your local Harley or Honda dealership and ask for Zero or Gold Strike parts. A new leader has emerged, so check out Zero 3D's custom line of Gold Strike products for all the new Honda Goldwings. Better yet, help support us and head on over to lawabidingbiker.com/store and check out our full line of Zero 3D products.
Nice. And I see in the chat, Big Daddy Kane, of course, speaking of Zero parts, he's slammed
The
down.
man, the myth, the legend.
He is, and he's in there. And in the chat, thanks, Big Daddy. He is the store operations manager down there. So many of you know him. And even though he's backed up big time, doing the best he can with orders, I know he'll get your Zero parts out to you real quick like with a little love.
With a good time in every package.
A good time in every package. Yep. All right, you got any questions? Big Daddy's in there, but thanks for hanging with us there, brother. All right, so let's talk about your, what do you call it? It's an ultra road glide. Do you have a name for it since it's technically, you had something earlier. It sounded like.
I probably did.
Yeah, I can't remember what it was, but.
Ultra light.
Ultra.
I don't know.
Yeah, right. So today, Brad was nice enough. We've done this over the years and we appreciate it so very much. And that's patron members or members, period. Anybody that follows us online or is part of the general community, but it seems like mostly it's been patron members. But we appreciate you guys hitting us up if you need things done to your bike or there's a certain project you want to do on your bike. That's what Brad did, reached out to us and wanted to put rear speakers. We'll talk a little bit about more about that in a minute and what that entails and why we did what we did. But he reached out to us and just, you can always reach out to us. I'm just telling you, sometimes there's things we will do and sometimes there's things we won't do. You just got to ask us. We have to make sure it works and we may already have a video on it or we may have other priority projects. But the worst that can happen is we say we just can't do it right now, but it may be something we want to do. And we certainly love having people. Brad hung with us all day. Got to see the film process and here in the studio with us. Of course, we try to get podcasts going and stuff like that. So he reached out to us and he wanted to put some rear Rockford Fosgate two-way speakers on the rear of his Road Glide, not in the saddlebags, but actually speaker pods. Because as we stated, he's turned his Road Glide into a ultra basically, and he put a Hardy tour pack on it. And anyways, we'll break this down a little bit for you and give you some information on that. But we appreciate that. And so he rolled up last night, stayed the night, right? And came over here early this morning. And we've been doing this project all day and got to hang out, had a good lunch, some beers, had a great dinner. And so that's what we're coming off the back of. And of course, we already have our Rockford Fosgate aftermarket system install video. If you want
to do the front speakers and the amp, it was fantastic.
Yeah,
Nice.
you used it, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
It just led me right through the process. Took my laptop out to the garage, start. What was that? Rewind, stop. Yeah.
Nice.
Watched Lurch's hands in action.
That's beautiful.
Thought about my hands being right in there.
Yeah. We got you in there too.
They are today.
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
Beautiful hands. I got your face too.
Yeah.
So
I think it's safe to say my Road Glide's in transition. It's transitioning.
What does it feel like
It's
most
going to
today?
identify as an ultra later.
What does it identify most with today?
I think today it probably is identifying as an ultra.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
If it was close to an ultra, by putting the speaker pods and speakers on it, definitely
It just
made
took
its full transition.
It really
Right.
did make a big difference there.
So Brad used the video. Of course, all of our premium videos over at lawabidingbiker.com/buy videos, all one word. So he did the front install and we had the video on that for some time. Front amp, front speakers, which is the bulk of the project. We even show you how to take the tank off, run the main power harness for the amp and all that kind of stuff. but he had rear speakers because he got it in a kit, and we didn't have a video on that. And he was like, "Hey, I don't think you guys have a video on this." So of course we jumped on the opportunity. So tell us a little bit about that, Brad, and why. I want to dive in a little bit to what we were talking about pre-episode about how you use your system, because he's got a boombox. He's got a 17, of course. So he's got the older version of the boombox, and he rides a lot with his lovely wife, who we got to meet or in the summer last year. But how do you use your system, and why did you go with rear speakers and not just the front system?
Well, I'll say first that it was my wife's idea to contact you because she was a little worried about me cutting into the tour pack.
Well, I was worried about it.
You guys,
She wanted me to get a little help.
Nice. That's an honest answer.
It is. I mean, she trusts me, but
Right, but yeah.
so
Oh, we could have screwed it up just as easily as you could have.
this is true.
If you guys didn't see in the private Facebook group today, or even on the public page, there's a picture of Lurch with the hole saw. Check it out. It's a pretty funny picture, but that was right before Lurch was ready to actually drill into Brad's beautiful Harley tour pack.
Yeah, measured before we drilled anything, but still.
I sent her that message telling her to look for the part number for a new tour pack.
Did she ever answer you?
She still has not answered, no.
Oh, man.
We got to go in because hang on. I'm going to.
Oh, you're going to show it to everybody?
Yeah, I'm going to show we got to find this picture, dude. It's freaking hilarious.
While he's looking, though, so why did you decide to add the speakers in the back?
So, my wife rides with me a lot, and we took a trip last year to, or year before last, to Sturgis. Rode 2 up all the way there and back, and she was a trooper. But one of the things she's complained about for a long time, and that trip made it really obvious, is that she can't hear the music. So, when we're putting in, coming back, we did 700-800 miles each day, and she couldn't hear the music except through my Senna. Oh, that's good. That's just comedy
put it
gold
up on
right
the screen.
there.
There's Lurch. Right. Look, I'm showing the audience. That's right.
I love it.
He's got it all marked out. Lurch was very, very confident going into that. But
Larry's got it right there. It is definitely a sphincter tightening exercise.
Oh yeah, we got the we got the comments over there. That's true. Yeah. Oh, too funny. Yeah. All right. Anyways.
Yeah. So, she could only hear the music through my Senna because the way we ride, my phone is not paired to my boom at all. It's plugged in so that we can stream music, but it's only a wired connection to the boom. And then it is connected to my headset, and my headset's connected to her set. Her phone's connected to her Senna as well. We both run 20s. The Senna 20, I have the 27S Evo, and she has a 27, or the 20S.
20S, right?
Man, I can't say that. So we use it in an open Vox, the voice-activated setup for the intercom between the two of us, and we'll chat going down the road. And it's so nice because we can just conversationally chat as we're riding down the road. The couple we rode with, if they wanted to communicate, they had to scream at each other. And every time we stopped, they were mad at each other because they were just screaming at each other.
Right,
Even if
right.
you're not mad, when you're screaming like that, you start to get mad, and they were just frustrated with each other the whole time. And so it was so nice that we were able to just have that communication, but she couldn't hear the music. So we wanted to solve that. So she green-lighted me to purchase the amp and speakers. I installed the front speakers, and they were still good. She could hear them better, but she couldn't hear them well enough that, I should say, the volume had to be so loud that it was annoying to me in order for her to hear it well with just the front speakers. And it's great because you can turn it that loud, and it's clear that loud, but it's, it's just not where I want to. It's not comfortable for me to talk to her in a normal voice when the stereo is that loud, even though she can hear me just fine. So I got her on speakers.
Mm-hmm. Now, I want to dial this in a little bit to make sure it's understandable, because we're going to talk about a little bit of useful information for some of you here. So there's different ways to get for your needs, I should say. So what Brad does, and correct me if I'm wrong, is he doesn't have a whim. Okay. You have to have the whim to pair your headset with the boombox if you want the internal, communications.
Right.
So what Brad does is what some some people do. Some go through the boombox and they pair everything. They get a whim. Brad just skips that. So he basically pairs his phone directly to his headset.
Right.
And then his headset is paired to his wife's headset, the 20S.
Yep.
So they can communicate, but they're not going through the bike at all. They're not using the Harley boombox system at all.
Right.
Except
for streaming music through the dock connector. That's the only
right.
option.
So he hooks up his phone and wires it through the USB interface port in your jukebox compartment. But then he plays his music. He's not playing it through his headset. He's playing it through the speakers. So really, you can just take the Harley and the boombox out of the equation. Really, they're just running Sennas like a lot of sports bike people would, or other, tours, and skipping the boombox, which can help with some issues and some frustrations. It's certainly one way to use it. I, on the other hand, and I want to talk about the music. You were having some problems with fading music. Can you explain before let's go down that road, because I was like, here's the deal. Here's why I'm asking Brad this is when I'm in town, or just doing a local slow ride, if I'm on, 40 mile an hour country roads, I'll play my music on the J&M system through my speakers, with my helmet shield cracked partway or not. I can hear it going down the freeway fine, but as soon as I'm going to actually tour or go on a long ride for the day, or I'm on the freeway, I just go into my settings. I click it off the speakers. I run everything. I'll just listen to music. Like on our summer trip, I'll listen the whole time just through my Senna headset. And you chose not to do that.
Yeah. So I do that sometimes, but very seldom. Podcasts, I'll do that because I don't know why. I just don't like the idea of listening to the podcast through my stereo. I'll generally do that through the headset. It's pretty easy to transition from the boom to the headset. Harder to go from the headset to the boom in this configuration because you don't have the ability to do it through the boom. You have to turn the headset off and then get to the next song, and then it'll transition back to the boom. So that's really awkward. But the problem I had in listening to music and using the intercom at the same time is you can't fade. You can't control the volume on each thing. So the volume of the music and the volume of my wife are the same. And that's not something I want to do. You have to be able to lower that music and have or I guess you could lower the wife's voice and raise the music.
It's called mute.
Yeah.
Just hope she's not listening. Sorry.
But what I'd want to do is lower the level of that music and raise the volume of her voice, and I can't do that independent of each other when I'm just using the Senna. So I never do that together.
Just because I want to make sure I understand, because you don't have a whim. So you're listening to music. If you're listening to it on your headset, you're going straight from the phone to the headset.
Yep.
And that's what you're saying. If you're going straight from the phone to the headset, you can't lower the
right.
Okay.
Yep.
And I thought that's what I just want to make sure that I'm
there's just
clear
no
on that.
adjustment there to do that.
Right.
So.
Okay. And so is that the reason that you chose that you're listening through your speakers now? That was the sole reason.
That's the main reason. And I just like it. I like having it out there instead of in my head. Especially sometimes if I've been out for a long time, less noise in my helmet is better. Having noise outside the helmet's is much better. But I'll change that sometimes too, because when you're in the the 6th, 7th, 8th hour on the road, sometimes it is good to just change things up, get the music coming from a different place, listen to voice instead of music or whatever that is. But I do change it up a bunch as I'm riding, but typically music on the stereo, voice in the helmet, and that's it.
Okay. So hopefully that helps some of you out there. Me and Brad actually got into that conversation, and I found it interesting because we all use those a little bit different ways. And like I say, depending on your needs, the other option would be for Brad to get a whim.
Or a free wire.
Yep, very true. You could run it you'd have to get a free wire for both of you.
Or just connect my phone.
Right.
I think I could do it with just her to me.
Yes. I'm tracking.
Not worry about controlling anything with her through the bike, but I'm not sure.
Right.
I haven't figured that out yet.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, that's another certainly option.
It's another layer of complexity that I just haven't needed to do. So I haven't really gone there.
Yeah. No, I get it. So that would be the other option is the free wire, of course, or, he'd have to break down and get a WIM and then.
But then I got to get new Sennas too, because I need the Harley branded.
You need the Harley branded one for stereo sound.
Yep.
So sometimes I think the way you do it is obviously a simpler way if people don't want to get too complicated. And again, you can get away. You don't have to buy the stamped branded units. You can go.
Yeah, the upgrade path is easier. I mean, if I wanted to go to a 50, I could go to a 50 in the Senna. Whereas if you have the WIM, that's not even an option, right? You're stuck at 30.
Yeah, I think Popeye does the same thing.
You're stuck at 30 right now, yeah.
Popeye does the same thing. He pairs his phone right to his Senna, doesn't go through the bike through the WIM.
Yeah, I don't even know if does he have a WIM?
I don't think he does.
I don't think he ever got it.
No.
Yeah, he probably doesn't. And it's an option.
But
way
a lot
to go.
of guys do it that way.
Yep. Yeah, I've done it that way before too. The KLR doesn't have anything, so I do that, and it can be simpler. And then you could just use your GPS visually too, if you want to use your GPS unit, or run it through the speakers too, if you want to hear the voice. So,
well, and it's interesting because Harley this year with the Pan America came out with this whole new interface that your phone can pair through. And I think the whole thing sounds like they're moving away from the need for a WIM. I don't know for sure because I haven't seen the details on that.
On which?
On the Pan America.
Yeah, right. Yes. The way I understand it too is that,
So maybe next model year.
After they screwed us all for so many years.
Yeah.
Maybe there'll be a reason to upgrade. I doubt it.
Yeah, because the Indian Ride Command, you don't have to do that.
Yep.
It's ready out of the box to pair.
It should be.
It absolutely should have always been.
Why
it was an aftermarket or afterthought. I guarantee it.
And I get that in 2017 when they came out with the boom to start that was 2015, wasn't it, with the boom?
2014.
14.
15 for those of us that were like road glides.
Oh, right. Yeah. Because I skipped 14.
That's right.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
The deal is though that I get it then, but when they updated to the GTS,
why not fix it?
Yeah, you had the perfect opportunity to put that headset module in there, and they want us to buy the CVO.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I haven't done I'm just monitoring the chat here. I vaguely see some people talking about different ways. When Gary says, I've never used Waze. If you haven't heard of that, WAZ, I'm putting in there. I actually also I use this. I've never said it before, but I use it for writing adventure and for a backup for the boom box like I did last year. And that is InRoute, INROUTE. Great for adventure writing. I like their platform a lot. You got to pay for the service. So you got to pay for an yearly app fee. But for adventure riding and off-road riding, it also does perfect on-road. It's just so expansive that we used it a lot last year when riding the KLRs all around last year.
Well, but Ride Planner has off-road capabilities.
It does now. That's what I hear.
And it's so much worse.
Oh my God. They messed Ride Planner up.
It's so bad.
I'm waiting for it. And a lot of people get the tutorial video that I did on Ride Planner, and then it's still the same user interface, but they added that, and it just muffed a whole bunch of stuff. I went into it and I was like, because somebody was emailing me asking me this doesn't work. I watched your video.
You can't even do an update to that video right now until they fix the system because you can't show anybody how to use something that's broken.
Correct. and if they fix it back to the state it was, then we're golden.
You're good, yeah.
But if they don't change the interface, but it broke all the simple stuff that works, that it just doesn't work. And so anyways, that's one I use. I've tried Rever, Henry Happ. It's okay. I actually used Rever on a few adventure rides just because I have a lot of things that I want to do that I don't have time for. And those two apps were ones that I want to eventually do a video on, but I like to test stuff thoroughly before I do that. I did use Rever in combination with InRoute just to see. It was good. Rever's getting better, but it's not as good as InRoute at all.
I actually paid for the
off-road. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
I paid for the premium for Rever this year because of the Butler Maps interface. It is so good for finding extra rides. Yeah. That Butler Maps interface is money.
How much is that? Do you remember that membership?
I think it's like $50 a year, maybe.
Okay. I'm glad you brought this up because I never did the premium on Road.
Yeah. I finally broke down this year. And actually it was looking at the routes going down to the Patron meetup. I bought the paper version of the Butler Maps and was waiting for it to ship. And I'm not a very patient person. They tell me the patience blooms with age, and I'm still waiting. But
fair enough.
Yeah. So I saw that they had that Butler Maps interface, and I just went ahead and did it. And it works really well to find things. It does not work really well to plan things.
Okay. Real world biker review.
Yeah.
That's badass. I'm glad because I never, so my reference was to the free, I pay forever, but it's just to have that group that we have, but I don't have their premium. So that's great, man.
Yeah. But I mean, it's
not for
unparalleled for finding good rides.
Okay.
Because they do have the red, yellow, green, red, yellow, green Butler, the G1 through G3 rides that you can find, and they have off-road versions too, but it's fantastic to find things. But when you start trying to drag, like playing gas stops and lunch stops and all of that, it just falls apart. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. There you go. So that answers Henry Happ. That's way better than I could given you there. So real world biker review there. But yeah, en route, I want to say it's $20 a year or 10 to 20. And yeah, Mark says he likes that Rever tracks your ride. True. We use it, for that. En route can do that too. If you just want to record a ride as you're riding. Heck, the Harley app does that too. Theoretically.
Rever does it better than
Harley app. Yeah. Once we said Harley.
I feel like we've taken a left turn here.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. That's what this episode is all about.
But if you make a couple left turns, you're back on track.
That's true. Make enough of them, you're back where you started.
It's very true. All right. So, I just brought that up because I love, if you see anything else in the chat too, Lurch, we can go that. We can go anyway.
You betcha.
This is just good biker talk, man, about all stuff we try and use. And anyways, me personally, I'm not affiliated with them at all. Never reach out to the company. But I'm a big fan of InRoute, INRoute for iPhone. iOS, it also has a Mac desktop app where you can plan on it, to make things speedier. And it doesn't have all the glitches that like Ride Planner and stuff like that has. Ride Planner was getting good. Yep. They was really starting to.
It was pretty solid.
It was getting bad, so much better. And then they frickin' came out with this Pan America and jumped the gun again. And typical Harley.
That sums it all up. You could add a toilet flush to that, maybe.
Yeah, no doubt. We do need the toilet flush for sure. All right, let's do this real quick, and we got some more stuff to talk about with y'all. Ride longer and treat your ass with some respect already. Get hooked up with a premium butt buffer seat cushion. This company of bikers developed a super thin hospital-grade seat cushion made of solid and elastic materials, and that's unlike gel pads that will leak if punctured, and that happened to a cowboy. His punctured. And we gave him a butt buffer for the trip. The butt buffer is designed not to slide around on your seat, fits all motorcycles, installs in seconds, easily cleans, and helps to dampen those vibrations. With plenty of models to choose from, they assure you'll have a comfortable ass when riding. Head over to Law Abiding Biker Store. Check out our lineup of butt buffer seat cushions. There you go. All right. So as we continue on here, you see anything in the chat that needs talking about there, Lurch?
3 lefts make a right, but 2 rights make an airplane.
There you go. We're done. We're out of here.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty good.
And the episode, all right. Just, right there. Yeah. Nice. Who said that?
Henry Happ.
Yeah, nice. There you go. All right. So that's what we did today. Let's talk about, we installed the rear speakers. This was supposed, as usual, this was supposed to be a pretty quick. Yeah, go ahead.
Project. Yeah. Hour and a half, 2 hours tops.
We were putting rear speakers on a King tour pack, a detachable tour pack for the Road Glide. So it did not come with speakers originally. So Brad had to get speaker pod kit
As part of the transition plan.
as part of the transition
Right.
plan. That kit then came with the wiring, the harnesses
All right.
to run from the head unit back, and we had to mount those pods onto the King Tour Pack. And that's when I got to use the 2.5-inch hole saw
Yes.
on his bike.
We did have it done pretty good, though. We had the bike stripped, fairing, tank, seat, 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Tops.
Yeah. It goes quick when you have two people and you don't have to film that part of it.
Right. We didn't have to film that part because we already have it in the front installation video. And it wasn't saddlebags, I want to say. We did pods. You have to have a trunk to do the rear pods, and you don't need another amp because he has a 4-channel amp up there. You're just running 2, and we were able to switch it. So, yeah. But we ran into a few little issues.
Yeah, I've never
As
heard
usual.
of jack screws.
Jack
nuts.
nuts.
Jack nuts. I've never heard of jack nuts.
That's a real thing, by the way, because I know when you say it, it does not seem like a real thing.
The easiest way for those out there that don't know what it is, think about a wall fastener that you'd put into your wall, not like a molly bolt, but the ones that go in and expand when you tighten the screw down. That's what these are. You put them in. And what we learned is if you have a jack nut tool, it'll crush the jack nut down, and then it stays in place. And that way the nut's always attached to your pods. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Plus, the instructions told us completely wrong.
Yeah,
like
they
usual.
showed us to put them on the inside.
Put them on the wrong side of the
Put 'em-
whole tour
yeah.
pack. So I think what we actually had, though, we either had 3 nuts that were jacks and no tool, or 3 tools with jack nuts. I'm not sure which it was.
Right. Right.
Yeah, we really had to mess around with putting them in, and we just could not get them to tighten down. There really is no way to tighten them down because they just spin.
Yeah. Well,
So you couldn't crush it down.
Yeah, they had the thread locker on the screws, so every time it hit the screws or the thread locker, it would start to spin because it
spin
didn't
the
turn
jack
freely
nut with
anymore.
it, yeah.
So you couldn't compress that jack nut like you'd need to, and yeah, hot mess.
Hot mess. So we really tried to make it happen. We even ran down to the local hardware store and tried to find a jack nut tool, which collapses that nut into place. And they didn't have it at the local hardware store. And a couple of the specialty stores that we tried were closed on Saturday. So we ultimately decided to just get some quarter 20 nuts and wash, and which was what they should have used in the first place. But and Brad brought it up as we were driving down to the hardware store because I was like, why in the hell did they put these stupid nuts into this package? Well, what they did is they give you what they use at the factory.
Yep. And at the
What's
factory,
in the
there's
kit at
probably
the
a big
factory.
machine that does this.
Right, that presses these jack nuts in place. It'd be handy if it was pressed in place because then you can take the bolts in and out, and then nuts wouldn't fall off. You wouldn't lose them. But
God, it's horrible when your nuts fall off.
I know.
Comes with age, I hear. They start sagging between your knees. Next thing you know, they're at your calves.
And next thing you know, you're sitting on them.
Next thing you know, they're dragging on the kitchen floor in the
And a
morning.
butt buffer won't help with that.
No,
No.
you need a nut buffer.
Yeah, you need something. And then, so some engineer is making those instructions, and that nowhere in there does it say you need a jack nut tool.
No, in fact, the
you couldn't
instructions
find a jack nut tool.
the instructions say this: insert the jack nuts. Mm-hmm. That's it. And the drawing doesn't even show you where to put them in correctly.
Yeah. We even went online and found the animated drawing, and it still had them on the wrong side of the tour pack. And yeah.
But, quick thinking, we resolved our issue and went and got some new nuts and washers and tightened it down.
And show it in the video. We show you the different ways. Now, I do want to mention Brad's setup, the way it is, which I learned today because they kind of had it all set up. I was doing the filming part. But if you're interested in, again, he's got a Road Glide, and he added the Harley brand touring trunk, the tour pack. And the Ultras have the passenger speaker pods already there. If you had an Ultra, you would basically, all the wires are ran, everything, you would basically just plug in the new speakers, take the old ones out. But in his case, we had the speaker pods, had to put those on, run the actual wires. Now, all he did was when he bought his original Rockford kit, it came with the 4 speakers. But again, as we stated, he waited to install the rears. So we had to, the pods and the wire harness he actually got through Harley.
Mm-hmm.
It's a Harley Davidson part number. And And all the guy had from Rockford today was the 2-way rear pod speakers. So,
but if you go down to your dealership and tell them you want to do this, they're going to tell you it's not possible.
Yeah.
And you're going to have to tell them this is the part number and it comes with the harness. And because otherwise they're going to send you off to NAMS maybe to try to find a harness, or tell you that they can't get the harness because they don't sell it separately. And you have to do your own research.
Yeah, nice.
Or depend on our research that we've done for you.
Right.
There you go.
And Brad's
done it.
Wealth of knowledge on that in the private Facebook group. But when we eventually release this video, the article that goes along with the video, it'll be another, in addition to the front system, you'll be able to install the rear system with this video, but we'll put the part numbers that he used. But he had to do a lot of research and patience to get that figured out, because it was not as easy as one would think. So,
Ooh.
I mean, I learned, go ahead.
Tony Lazzetti says he's got a Macallan 21. I was just telling Brad I'm retiring myself here shortly, and I ordered myself a bottle of Macallan 18, and that was quite expensive, so I'm not sure what that bottle of Macallan 21 cost.
Everybody, let's head over to Henry Happ's. Yeah,
Tony's house.
Tony's house. We're headed to Tony's house. All right, sweet.
Good on you, Tony.
So tell me this as we're getting in here, but we're still having a good time here. We won't go too much longer. Thanks to everybody for being in the chat here. Love seeing that. And sorry, I know we're missing a lot of stuff. Oh, dang it! Close to pulling the trigger. I'm just reading here.
Well, I think there's some
buffer. Budget. Yeah. Gary Jackson. Yeah, dang it! Close to pulling the trigger on the Ciro. He wants the Ciro phone holder charger. It's a good option for a lot of guys, depending on if you're going, through your boombox, or if you're plugging into your boombox or not, to charge wirelessly and all that kind of stuff. So tell me this, Brad. Now, Brad hosted last year a unsanctioned patron member meetup, and we did a documentary film on it. That film's done very well, and a lot of great comments on that film. But he decided to do that down in Oregon. And so that was the first time that I met Brad and his lovely wife. They invited everybody into their home for all of you that were down here. So a lot of you in the chat probably have met Brad or know Brad, very active in the Facebook group. So you've seen a lot of stuff on video, right? And the podcast and whatnot. I always like to ask what you think about, you got to see the film process and or your thoughts on if the studio looked like what you thought it was going to look like, or how it's so.
The studio's amazing.
Fun to listen.
I watched the studio tour, and that was a while ago, but it doesn't do it justice.
Did we do a studio tour? I believe you.
I think you did.
I know you were doing some stuff as it was being built, and I think you did one when it was finished.
Oh, I did when it was.
Because I remember the conversation about the teabagging going on with the attic stairs.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Maybe
don't ever look up there when he's up there.
I don't know how that happened.
You might see more than you bargained for.
I have no idea. But
it is fantastic. I can't imagine it as a place to work on bikes. Having something like that makes things so much easier. And you can just tell that, the not having to set things up, having the sound deadening, the lighting, it's got to make it just so much easier to just start filming. Well, we did this morning. Took you 2 minutes to pull out your cameras and your additional light and have us started. I mean, you were set up well before we got the first parts of stripping the fairing and the seat off. And just super convenient for doing that. The process of filming takes much longer.
Doesn't it?
And
that's an honest answer. I love hearing this stuff because we're so used to it. I love hearing it.
Yeah, we probably extended it a little bit because Ryan and I would get talking, and Lurch was standing over there waiting for Ryan to film.
Staring us down.
Yeah, it was, so that it's that conversation and camaraderie that's going on along with the filming that, it extends it, plus just the process of filming. I know you have to get the right view and you have to get multiple views and slow down on the wrench, speed up on the wrench.
Oh, yes. I forget about all that.
Take that bolt back out and put it back in.
I'm just barking out orders.
We need to go back and, take that screw back out so they can see it being put in. And that kind of thing takes time. But it was fun. Had a good time today.
I love hearing that stuff, because we're so used to it. And so I love hearing what somebody's perspective is. Everybody asks that question, or some people come up. I think it was Terry's like, it's way smaller than I thought, because it looks big it depends how you frame stuff, and
Sure.
I think that's what he said. He goes, yeah, no, it's awesome. He goes, I thought it was way bigger than it was. It makes
That's funny because I had the exact opposite.
Did you?
Because, I knew it was a 2 bays. And so I'd kind of pictured it that size. And when you get inside and there's nothing but motorcycles and motorcycles related stuff in there, it doesn't look like it has, even with 6 motorcycles was it today?
Yeah.
Yeah, with 6 motorcycles in there, it still doesn't look like it's 2 full bays.
Right. Yeah. If there was a couple of cars in there, it'd seem full.
Yeah.
But with the bikes, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah,
You can still see
makes
over the
sense.
top of them and they don't take up as much space.
And I really am envious of the lift because
Yeah.
having that lift, even though we didn't really need it today for the project we were working on, being able to get things up at eye level, being able to change the level of the things you were working on, it's just beautiful.
Yeah. It's a back saver.
Oh, yeah.
And we use it so much for filming angles that you just couldn't get before.
Yeah. We can get up in the air and you can get shots up into things.
Or on a ladder down in, because Lurch is
Sometimes.
tall. So he lifts the lift to work on it, and then I have to get on a ladder to film it. It's the same level, dude.
That's true.
My little ladder I yank around everywhere, dude.
He's got his little short man step ladder.
I do.
And, I've got a jack, so that's better than on the ground, but the lift it's so much better.
Yeah.
So much more stable.
I serviced my lawnmower last weekend on it.
Yeah, I've done that.
Yeah, it's just great to get things up at regular level
what she
instead of
said.
getting down to
Getting
crawl
it up
around.
is always important.
Crawling around the ground.
Very important.
Asshole.
All right, let's do this. Let's do this real quick, and then we'll wind it down.
That went south.
Are you searching for the easiest and quickest detachable luggage system for your motorcycle? Rick Rack has just what you're looking for. Forget all those frustrating straps and bungee cords that come loose and slap your paint. Check out one of Rick Rack's awesome quick attach strapless luggage rack systems. This father and son team designed something really special that you can't find anywhere else. Yep, these guys ride, so they truly understand the needs of bikers. The Rick Rack Quick Attach system is strong, durable, and secure with a lockable system. Also, check out their full line of quality touring bags to accompany your quick detach system. Once you go Rick Rack, you never go back. What are you waiting for, bikeaholics? Head on over to Law Abiding Biker Store and check out our full line of Rick Rack systems and bags. lawabidingbiker.com/store.
There you go. We'll be rocking our Rick Rack systems down to Cali this year for our ride and meetup event and all that kind of stuff. Brad,
Yes.
you're going to meet us down there. You
am.
got another ride. What do you got going on?
It's kind of undetermined still. The plan is that I'm going to do this ride, and that's the 29th, 30th. So that trip for me will be 28th, 29th, 30th. My wife is going to be in Vegas the 5th, 6th, 7th, and I was going to ride down there. So it doesn't make sense to go back to Redmond and just drive right back down to Vegas. So I don't know. I'm kind of thinking about exploring a little bit. My brother's got some time right then too, so may explore with him a little bit. Shark Week is going to be in Reno or in Lake Tahoe on the 30th, 1st, and 2nd.
Yeah.
So I may pop over to that for a little bit. It's a bunch of road glides. I don't know if I can stand that much greatness in one place, though.
Yeah.
So, all right, that's going to be awesome. So if you're coming to the Patron meetup and you haven't met Brad, and his lovely wife will be there too, you're headed out to Reno here soon too.
Yeah, we're going to Reno for, Labor Day, Memorial Day. That's next Memorial Day. And that'll be a good ride going down with another couple. And yeah, the wife's going to get to experience her new cup holder.
Yeah.
You can't forget the cup holder.
Oh yeah, nice.
And her
We put that on
re-speakers.
too. We put a big because once you put the speaker pods on the tour pack, you can get a Zero 3D big ass cup holder from our store, and that was a big deal to her. She wanted that cup holder.
She wanted
right?
a cup holder, and
I don't blame her.
That's probably why I went with the pods instead of the. I also didn't want to lose space in my saddlebags, but those saddlebag speakers look pretty nice. But
They eat up some room.
Yeah, but there's no drink holder that goes with that. So
That's true.
What mama wants, mama gets.
Yeah, that's right. A happy wife is a happy life. Big Daddy Kane down there in the store, did he big ass? Yeah, he's just big ass. It's BAZZ. Now, I know you've worked down there with Big Daddy Kane,
Yep.
And you've ordered, because we actually have access to a shitload of stuff, including Vance and Hines. You guys just we haven't had time because we're a bootstrap company to list all the products, but Big Daddy Kane, I know you've ordered a bunch. If you hit Big Daddy up, he'll tell you whether we can get it and what he can get it to you for. We just haven't, it's not in our,
and things big and small, stupid things. I broke the tab off of my kickstand, and it's really hard to put the kickstand down without that tab on.
Yeah, that it is.
So I tried to replace it through the Harley dealer, and they didn't have it in stock and couldn't give me an ETA. And, so the first thing I did was check RevZilla and JP Cycle, and it's the standard length one was out of stock everywhere. So I reached out to Big Daddy, and because it was in the Tucker catalog, or not, is it Tucker?
Yeah,
we got Tucker catalog.
Tucker Rocky is one of
Yep. And he had it to me, I don't know, 3 days, 4 days. It was just ridiculous, the time.
Big Daddy
boy, Rick.
Yep.
Has he ever put any things in the box that are inappropriate when he shipped stuff to you?
We're just
We're just doing a little quality control here.
Peanuts in the box from time to time, but I'm not sure he's responsible for that.
Right? Yeah. He boxes them up good with the styrofoam peanuts that
are biodegradable and a fantastic play toy.
And
I found
nice.
this out. If you lick them, you can stick them together. My kids found this out. I come in the house one day after I got a box from Big Daddy, and there are sculptures all over the house with these little peanut sculptures.
Yes.
So it truly was a good time in every box.
We're very nice. We're all about the environment here at Law Abiding Biker Media. That's why we got those peanuts. Actually, I didn't even know they were biodegradable, but that sounds badass. We care about, I know Big Daddy, he likes to walk downtown with his signs about Earth Day, Green Day, Big Daddy down there. He's running up and down the sidewalk. So good job, Big Daddy, taking Lab to the next level, making us environmentally friendly. We didn't even know it. All right. But Big Daddy, he'll take care of you guys down there if you want access to time. Like I said, we just don't have time to list all that stuff. Any last stuff going on in the chat here, Lurch, that we need to mention?
There's some things that probably are unmentionable.
Right. That happens sometimes too in the chat that are funny, but
yes,
can't. We had a bunch of you in there. So thanks everybody for being in here, in the chat and being here live. And of course, if you're listening later in regular podcast format, this was live with live chat months before it came out. I think we should get out of here. We got another one to do right after this. Now, it's not going to be live per se. This was the only live one, but we are going to record it, and it will be video just like this. And hopefully by Sunday evening or Monday first thing, I will have it uploaded into your Patreon account, so you'll get a second episode. And if you're wondering what that one's going to be about, all the regular listeners will eventually get it too. But Brad's been writing some articles, which we didn't have time to get into. He's been writing some really great articles on the Law Abiding Biker website. He chose to do that and hit me up, and I thought it was a great idea. We've had some other guest writers in the past, and this episode that we're going to do is going to be basically, it's titled Brad Johnston's Progressive Gear Shopping Website Article. He's been recently shopping to up his game a bit with some maybe progressive gear, and he wrote a really good article and he did a lot of research. And in that article, it's already up on the website if you want to see the article, but there's a lot of links to the different gear that he talks about, and I posted it in the private Facebook group and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, check it out, and that's what we'll be talking about, and I'm sure me and Lurch have been testing progressive gear, so we'll just go round and around. It'll be a fun episode. But again, because of our Patron members, mid-level and above, you will be getting that uploaded to your Patron accounts. Now, we love our Patron members. Of course, we love them. But if for whatever, we'd love to get to know you better. We want you in the private Facebook group. But if the only way you can support us and the way you choose is through a flat donation, we never balk at a flat donation. Why don't you thank the following donators?
Elias Casanas of Lawrenceville, Georgia, Victor Strango of Chestertown, Maryland, and Edward Paquette of Lake Orion, Michigan.
LawAbidingBiker.com/donate is how they did that, and we love those flat donations. It helps pull a little fuel in the Law Abiding Biker gas tank.
so we can keep this bitch running on down the road.
Thanks, everybody. Not sponsored. I want to be.